Hello, I'm Tim Daw from the Stockholm Resilience Centre, and today I want to talk to you about the relationship between fish consumers and the aquatic ecosystems that supply that fish that they're consuming. Now, the fishing pressure on a particular stock, or the pressures on a particular ecosystem, is in a way determined by the demand from the consumer, what fish they want to buy and eat. And you might expect that there would be some kind of signal, some kind of message back from the ecosystem to the consumer about the status of that stock or that ecosystem. So for example, if a stock was in decline or if it collapsed, the availability of that fish would become less, and you might see less availability and higher prices. And the consumer could perceive that and know that there was something going on in the ecosystem. But today, 40% of seafood globally is traded across international borders. So there's this big global trade system which connects consumers from aquatic ecosystems which may be many miles away and that they may have no direct experience of. And we've been thinking about what are the aspects of global trade which weakens that signal from ecosystems back to the consumer. And so we've speak about masking, dilution, and drowning out. And masking refers to the fact that even though an ecosystem or a fish population might be in decline, in the short term it still might produce a lot of product. Dilution refers to the fact that a consumer, through the global trade system, is connected to lots of different supplies. So if one stock collapses, the suppliers can provide the same species from another area, or from aquaculture, or even substitute it for a different species. Drowning out simply refers to the fact that the prices which consumers experience are affected by other issues, like subsidies and changing fuel prices. Now, why is this a problem? Consumers are increasingly aware about environmental issues in the marine environment, but when they go into the supermarket, there they see laid before them many different species of fish at a reasonable price, and the signal that they get from the market is that there is no issue in the supply of seafood trade, and issues with sustainability in particular areas are basically drowned out, masked and diluted from the perception of the consumer. We looked into this theory for North Sea cod with some data that we managed to get on the dramatic changes in the population of cod in the North Sea, and showed that the corresponding changes in the price paid by consumers was limited. So again, a limited feedback to the consumer. So what can we do about this? We suggest three complementary strategies. One is to approach people as citizens rather than consumers. So through publicity campaigns, education campaigns, to make people aware of marine sustainability issues and increase political will for management. Secondly, we can try and reconnect consumers to the source markets through traceability schemes or certification, like is done by the Marine Stewardship Council. And finally, the fact that the seafood trade is increasingly controlled by large actors, large corporations who own various parts of the seafood chain, means that there are these central market actors. Now, whether you think it's a good or a bad thing, they do have an incentive to be concerned about long-term aggregate supplies of seafood, and they increasingly have the power to try and effect change towards a more sustainable seafood system. If you want to read more about this, check our paper recently published in Fish and Fisheries, Masked, Diluted and Drowned Out, How Global Seafood Trade Weakens Signals from Marine Ecosystems.